Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna move from here. These coolers are really loud and it doesn't make much sense to be talking right now when you can barely hear me. So Felicia's currently studying right now, where she's studying to be a real estate agent. She does want to get going, but I needed to make this video because these 2 points are probably the 2 points that will differentiate you from succeeding and failing in your small business. So thanks for joining me once again, my friends, on this channel. It's been a pretty decent Wednesday, I'd say. Wednesdays, I can say universally, no matter what retail business it may be, cafe, grocery store, clothing store, you'll find Wednesdays, I'm gonna say anywhere in the world, are probably gonna be one of your slower days, because people in the middle of the work week don't really feel like they want to shop. They kind of just want to get home, maybe eat something and watch some Netflix, and then they might start shopping on Thursday, Friday, going out to eat, or cafes on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. So Wednesdays, just a golden rule. You might want to take your deliveries on Wednesdays or do some paperwork on Wednesdays. These are days you might have a little bit more free time in your store, rather than trying to manage it on a Saturday. So that's just one thing. I don't know why that came to me right now, but I would say that would be a pretty good point of advice. Take deliveries on Wednesdays, because you probably will be a little slower than the rest of the week. So if you are new to this channel, I've ran this grocery store slash takeout cafe for about 4 years now. And we've learned a couple things over the time that we've been in business, and this channel is all about kind of growing a small business and your personal finances related to that. If you're interested in that and you'd like to support us, please hit the like button down below, and we can get started and grow as a beautiful small business family together. In this video, the two things that I really want to emphasize on what we learned over the last couple of years doing this, and what I advise anyone to do before opening any small business, whether it be, a grocery store, a cafe, little restaurant, whatever it may be. These are the two things that I just think you'll be able to really reduce your risk if you follow these two steps. There comes a time in, I'd say, 95% of people's lives where they have an idea for a business, or they want to open a business, or they want to start a side hustle, or whatever it may be. They have an idea where they want to create something. There's always that thing, I want to try starting a cafe or a deli or a restaurant. I love to cook. I'd love to see if I could be able to run a small, appetizer bar or something like that. And it always really kind of takes me to this one point right here. If you've never worked in the business that you want to start, I would suggest that's probably the first thing you need to do before even considering starting a business. If I've never worked in a grocery store, I would never consider opening a grocery store, because one, I wouldn't know what I was doing, really. Two, I wouldn't know what to expect my day-to-day would look like. Three, I wouldn't have any advantages on what sells, what doesn't sell, or how to run a cash register. I wouldn't have any of that experience. If I wanted to start a cafe, I would make sure I was behind the bar, making coffees, learning latte art, learning how to bake, certain things that work at cafes. And then I could transfer that over into my own cafe and learn, what sold there, how much pricing was supposed to be, how much to order. You really want to be able to be experience before you start a business in that field. And this, would come with working every position in that cafe or in that grocery store. So not just, working as a cashier for 5 years, or you don't want to do that for 5 years if you're trying to start your own business, but working as a cashier for a few months, then working as, inventory management for a few months, then learning everything there is to know about being a barista. You want to be able to know every aspect of the business before you really take on your own project. And this will reduce your risk, your mistakes, and pretty much give you a foot in the door that you wouldn't have never had, and you would have never been able to see if you actually liked this certain business if you never actually worked in it. So that's my number one golden rule. And you don't even have to watch the rest of this video, because I'm telling you now, you need the experience before starting a business. I don't even know if you really like it. Everything seems glamorous from the outside, right? You watch, you go to a nice cafe and everyone's, grooving, moving, the music is going and everyone's kind of flowing. But you don't know behind the scenes what it really takes to actually work in one day in and day out and see the problems that come with it. To give you a personal example, I used to work in a very similar back room to this at the other, my previous employment, the job that trained me to do this pretty much. Well, they didn't want to train me to do this, but I trained myself to do this in the future. But anyways, I know exactly the equipment I needed, the things I needed to be able to produce the products that we sell here, because I had the experience from working in another grocery store, right? Felicia did more of the cafe side of things. She worked at, a very popular Canadian cafe. You guys can guess the one I'm saying. I'm not sure why I'm hiding it from you. It's Tim Hortons. So she took care of all that, and all of our baked goods and things. They don't come from the same place, but we know what sells. We know, it's not. It doesn't take a genius to know people like cookies and muffins, but it takes kind of the experience to know how many you'll need per day. How busy you're going to be. By no means are we as busy as Tim Hortons, but the ratios are, being able to be figured out a little bit better when you have the experience on what you actually need. Because this is how it usually goes for people. They go into a cafe or they go into a small market like this, and they see the owners, the music's on, they're talking to customers, or the employees are having a good time making drinks and everything's flowing nicely. But you don't see behind the scenes on what it actually takes to work there day in and day out, dealing with, terrible customers, dealing with ordering, dealing with waste, food waste. You don't see behind the scenes. You just see the glamorous part of the business where it looks amazing. The cash registers never stop flowing, but you don't see the other side, the bills, the employee costs. You don't see any of that. So that's why a lot of people get, kind of this dream that they don't want to open a small cafe or market or restaurant, because they don't see the actual reality of the day-to-day. That's why I suggest to get some experience in the business that you want to start, and it'll help you tremendously. First-hand experience, the first thing any financing help for this business asked me was, do you have any experience in the business that you're trying to start? So do you have any experience in running a grocery store? And I did. I had about 8 years in a grocery store in this general kind of market, something similar to this. Obviously it was a bit bigger and better, but we're getting there, so I can admit that. And they asked this question because they know themselves that your risk is reduced significantly if you actually have experience in the business. Number one, you kind of know exactly how to run it. Number two, you know what sells. And they know this. They know that the people that have experience will be the ones to be able to pay back the loan. That's the reason they give you any money at all, right? To make money off of you, and you pay back your loan and they get their interest. So everybody's happy in a way. So just be aware that if you're looking for any financing, this will be a question that you will be asked. And leading into our second most important point on before opening whatever small business you're looking at is make sure you have enough capital to start the business for at least about a year in. So many people fail and so many businesses go under because they simply didn't start with enough money. I'm telling you from experience, I've seen my accountant tell me that he has businesses that do their grand opening, and the next day they can't operate because they literally ran out of money because they didn't do the research on the funding that they actually needed for all the things possible to start this business. Realistically, you need to expect that your business will not be turning a profit for the first year, maybe even 2 years, maybe even more, depending on how many employees and other costs you have. So the thing I try to let people know now is don't be afraid to take a bit more money that you need, whether it's from a private investor or financing or your own money, because you're scared that, I don't know if I can pay back this loan. Well, guess what? You definitely won't be able to pay back the loan if you have to close your business. So So start with enough capital that you can survive without even making a penny after 1 year. I would say that's a safe bet. And I know it's sometimes scary to take more money out, but this is kind of why we're in business, to take that risk, because we actually believe in the idea, and you had the experience, right, from actually working in the business before you started your own. So thanks for watching this video. I think, this is something I needed to say, because I know when I first started my business, having the experience and having the right financing really helped us get to where we are today. So it's something I figured a lot of people that are starting a business similar to this, cafe, maybe more on the cafe side. I know that's probably the title of this video, but with those two things, you really reduce your risk of going under, at least in the first few years. And then you really have to kind of build yourself up and build a well-oiled machine. But that's a whole nother video. And that's about it.